Tom Mato's Rainy Day. Written and illustrated by Dakota Workman. Recorded by Tanner Garcia. Tom yawned heartily as he woke up in the morning. Tom knew today was going to be a great day. He felt no sense of forewarning. But as Tom opened his bedroom curtains, he realized rain was booming like dynamite. It was clear that a storm had brewed overnight. Tom jumped with fright and lost all sense of delight. Now he knew today was not going to be quite what he thought was in sight. Tom sighed as he rolled out of bed. However, just before Tom touched the floor, he got caught on his sheets and bonked his head. Tom let out a large cry and then clutched his sheets and shouted out, "Why?" Today Tom was supposed to buy a new plant for his garden, and he was planning on doing so with his friends, but the rain only seemed to harden. Tom sat for a bit after getting ready for the day. He mumbled to himself before walking outside to go meet his friends. "I wish the rain would go away." Tom trudged through big puddles, but that was the least of his troubles, as now the wind was trying to blow his umbrella and hat away. Tom wondered to himself why the weather couldn't be perfect every day. Then suddenly, an even larger gust blew, and Tom was launched into the air. He gasped as he looked down below. He clenched tight to his umbrella and thought to himself, it would be best if he did not let go. As Tom soared through the air, he tried to let out a yell, but could only produce a wee little squeak. Tom thought, hopefully the wind would let him down sometime this week. After a few jostling minutes, the wind suddenly stopped, and Tom landed with a crash, getting those near Tom's landing spot wet with a great big splash. As Tom looked around, dazed and confused, he realized in the end he had ended up where he needed to be. Tom was just around the corner from his friend's meeting spot tree. When Tom reached the tree, none of his friends were there. Tom checked his watch and realized he was late and had probably just missed them by a hair. Tom began walking to the greenery where his friends could be. Perhaps his friends had gone early to get out of the rain. That was easy to foresee. Tom found his friends weren't in the store, but on the bright side the greenery was quite warm and nice. Tom walked through the aisle until he found a flower bud for a great price. Tom thanked the clerk and those who helped him throughout the aisles, then prepared himself again for the outdoors and the weather's trials. The wind and the rain still hadn't let up. Tom tightened down his hood and kept his new plant safe in its planter's cup. As Tom walked back to his house without his friends, the weather showed no signs of lifting. Tom worried about his plant and the wind that seemed to keep him drifting. Tom's muscles began to get tired as he fought against the wind. Then out of nowhere, a trash bin came flying and almost had Tom pinned. Tom dodged the trash bin, but what followed the bin were all the contents that were within. Tom did his best to protect his small plant and himself, but could only hope to do his best with the state he was in. However, as Tom dodged one last banana peel, he slipped in the mud, then crushed what was left of his flower plant bud. Tom's tears mixed in with the rain, and he held what he thought was the plant's last moments in pain. Yet, as Tom stared at the plant resting in its broken cup with a slump, he suddenly felt a gentle bump. It was his friends, all covered in muck. It looked like rather than abandoning Tom, they had run into some even more unfortunate luck. Tom's friends told him they had all waited for him at the tree. However, the wind had picked up, and Tom's friends had been blown around the town and in the mud, and that was easy for Tom to see. Happy that he and his friends were reunited, Tom gave each of them a hug, and his soul was delighted. Then Tom remembered his poor little flower friend, who had most likely perished. However, when Tom looked down, what he found was a surprise he cherished. What once was a bud was now a flower, blooming without surrender, thanks to a ray of sun that pierced through the clouds with tremendous splendor. Despite the beginning of Tom's day not being the best, the joy he now felt with his friends and his new plant was possibly the sweetest.
This concludes Tom Mato's Rainy Day. If you enjoyed this book, feel free to leave a like and comment. Additionally, if you'd like to purchase Tom Mato's Rainy Day, it's currently available on Amazon. There will be a link in the description of this video. Any and all support is appreciated and makes future books and videos like these possible. Thank you for listening.